Hello everyone, I am Dr. K. Annapurna, Associate Professor of ECE Department, VFSTR, Dematuru University, Vadlamudi. In today's class, we are going to start the fourth unit, Timer and PLL. As part of it, we will discuss about timers and PLL. So what is timers and what are the different types of modes of operation in timers, we will see. The main objective of this class is to make you familiarize with the concept of timers, and by the end of this lecture, you will able to answer what is timer, what are the various applications of timers, and what are the different modes of operations of timers, and what are the different types of multivibrators, and what are the different applications of monostable multivibrators, because in this class we are going to cover the 555 monostable multivibrator. So what is timer? So timer is a linear IC, so it is 555 timer, and which works as monostable, stable and Schmidt trigger with square wave output. Okay, and few applications. To generate the time delay pulses, we use timer, and to generate pulse width modulation, to generate pulse position modulation, to generate frequency shift keying, to generate accurate clock signals, and it is being used in traffic light signals, and it is used in waveform generators, and it is also used in temperature measurement and control applications. And these are very few applications. Actually, timers have such many applications. And what is multivibrator? So multivibrator is an electronic circuit used to implement a variety of simple two-stage devices such as relaxation oscillators, flip-flops, timers, etc. Okay, that is multivibrator. And there are three types of multivibrators: a stable multivibrator, monostable multivibrator and bistable multivibrator. So what is the difference among these three means? First, for all these multivibrators, the output is a square wave. So it is having two states, on state and off state, right? And the types of states are stable states and quasi-stable states. So on state or off state can be stable state or quasi-stable state. Right? So what is stable state means? The output of the multivibrator will be in that state until we give an external trigger pulse. That is called stable state. Whereas quasi-stable state means after some time automatically it will change its state. Then it is called quasi-stable state. And now coming to the stable multivibrator, both states are quasi-stable. Both on state and off state are quasi-stable states. And in monostable multivibrator, mono means one. So one is stable state and other is quasi-stable. And coming to the bistable multivibrator, bistable means, bi means two. So both states are stable states. So here both states are stable states. Okay, the three types: astable means no stable states, monostable means one stable state, the other one is quasi-stable, and bistable means both are stable states. And now let us see the functional diagram of 555 timer. So here we are using 3 5 kilo ohms resistor for potential divider. For potential division, we have to use same resistors so that equally it divides. And all our 5 kilo ohms resistors we are using. That's why it is called 555 timer. And here this circuit uses two comparators. This is upper comparator and this is lower comparator. Okay. So operational amplifiers are operating in open loop configuration, and here so what will be the voltage at this point? Here, if you see this point, it is a node. It is joining 3 branches, but there is no current flowing into the operational amplifier, right? Because ideally operational amplifier has infinite input impedance and there are no currents flowing into the operational amplifier. So that means whatever the current flowing through this 5 kilo ohms, the same current will flow through this and as well as this. So all these 5 kilo ohms resistors are connected in series. So same current is flowing. That means this VCC is dividing equally among these 3 resistors. So what is the voltage at this point? It is 1/3 of that, because from this point to ground means it is covering drop across 1 5 kilo ohm resistor. So it is VCC by 3. So 1/3 of the VCC. Now what is the voltage at this point? From this point to ground means it is covering drops across 2 5K resistors. So it is 2/3 VCC. Okay. And here it is covering all the 3 5 kilo ohms. That is 3/3 VCC means it is nothing but VCC point. And now the outputs of these comparators are applying to RS flip-flop. And Q bar output is given to the power amplifier, which acts as inverter. And here we will take the outputs. And here a reset pin. And this is threshold voltage, and this is the trigger voltage. Okay, so this is the functional diagram. So how these operational amplifiers operate means they are not having any feedback, so they are operating in open loop configuration. So in open loop configuration, operational amplifier provides very high gain, and because of that high gain, the output will be either plus VSAT or minus VSAT. And here we are taking plus VSAT means logic 1. So when the output is plus VSAT means it is considered as logic 1 signal, and minus VSAT means logic 0. Because these outputs are driving the flip-flop, RS flip-flop. Okay. So when this operational upper comparator gives logic high output, when this threshold voltage crosses the 2/3 of the VCC. And when this lower comparator becomes logic high output, when trigger voltage is less than the VCC by 3 voltage. Okay. Similarly, when upper comparator gives logic 0 output, when threshold voltage is less than 2/3 VCC. Or simply we can say, if plus input is high compared to minus input, it gives plus VSAT, that is logic high. If plus input is less compared to minus input, then it gives minus VSAT, that is corresponding to logic 0. Okay. Similarly, this comparator also gives. And based on these outputs, either logic 1 or logic 0, total you will have 4 combinations. Both might be 0. This is 0, this is 1, this is 1, this is 0, or both are 1s. Right? So, you know the truth table of RS flip-flop. So, RSQ. Total you will have 4 combinations. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Right? So, 0, 0 means there is no change. Whatever the previous output, the same output will be continued. 0, 1 means, S is 1 means it sets, that is Q becomes 1. 1, 0 means, R is 1 means it resets, that means output is 0. And 1, 1, it is not defined. Okay. So, no such case appears. So, this is the functional diagram. Here, power amplifier acts as inverter, and one more is here. This is discharge pin. Okay, for discharging purpose, we use this transistor. Now, let us see the pin diagram of 555 timer. So, the pin diagram is like this. It is having 8 pins. One is ground, 2 is trigger, 3 is output, 4th is reset. That is, at any point of time you can reset the output by using this pin. And this is control voltage. So, this is nothing but your 2/3 VCC point. So, this is the 5th pin. And usually we don't use this, but when we want to generate pulse width modulation, pulse position modulation, then it will be given some more input also. Okay. So, otherwise we will connect this to ground through a 0.01 microfarads capacitor to bypass the supply ripples. And 6th is threshold voltage. Seventh is discharge. And 8th is supply VCC. Okay. So, now let us see in the functional diagram where they are. This is 8th pin. This is 5th pin. Ground means 1st pin. 2nd is trigger. Output we are taking 3rd pin. 4th pin is reset. 5th, 6th is threshold. 7th is discharge. And 8th is supply. And here you can apply the supply voltages from 5 volts to 18 volts. Okay. Now let us see the monostable operation of 555 timer. This is VCC. Okay, this is the functional diagram of monostable multivibrator. Now let us see. Monostable means it is having one stable state and one is quasi-stable state, right? So first let us assume it is in stable state. It is logic 0. So here this circuit is giving stable state is logic 0. Right? So output is 0 means this is 1, right? This is 0. And this 1 is given to this transistor means let this transistor is Q1 and this transistor is Q2. Okay? So 1 is given to NPN transistor base means this transistor will be in on condition. So if it is in on condition, what happens? This capacitor completely discharges. That means this capacitor voltage will be 0 volts. The resistance of the on transistor is very low. So very quickly this capacitor discharges through this path. So the capacitor voltage becomes 0 volts. Now what is this? This capacitor voltage we are applying to the positive input of the upper comparator and minus input is supplied with 2/3 VCC. So here output will be 0 because logic 0, because minus input is dominating, that is minus VSAT is the output, so which is equal to the logic 0. And next here it is 1/3 VCC. Okay, and actually it will be at logic high. So whenever you want to give the trigger pulse, you have to give a negative going pulse. So it is at high means it is also logic 0. So what is the output? 0, 0 means there is no change. That means it will be at 0 and it will be at 1. So output will be 0 because it is acting as inverter. Okay. So it will be in that state until you give an external trigger pulse. For any time, for 1 hour, 2 hours or 1 day also the circuit will give us 0 because it is stable state. Now let us assume we are giving a trigger pulse. So at this second pin, it is a negative going trigger pulse. And here the condition is, while it is going negative going, its amplitude should fall below 1/3 VCC. So whenever this voltage, the amplitude of this trigger pulse falls below 1/3 VCC, what happens? Then plus input dominates. When it falls below 1/3 VCC, the plus input dominates. So this becomes 1. And what about this? Let us see. So when it is 1, what happens? The Q becomes 1. Because according to the truth table, when R0 S1 means S stands for set. So it sets the flip-flop 1. Q is 1 means Q bar is 0. When Q bar is 0, what happens? Automatically 0 is given to the inverter. So the final output becomes 1. And this 0 is given to the this transistor. So when NPN transistor, its base receives zero signal means it will be in off condition. So it acts like open circuit. So when it is open circuit, what happens? This capacitor can't discharge now. So what is the path it is having? Charging path. So now the capacitor starts charging from 0 volts towards this VCC. So now the capacitor voltage is charging like this. From 0 to, it wants to charge up to VCC. But what happens? Whenever this capacitor voltage just exceeds 2/3 VCC, so which is applied to the plus input of the upper comparator, then upper comparator output becomes 1. So upper comparator output becomes 1. When after some time, that time is nothing but the time taken by the capacitor to reach its voltage from 0 to just crossing 2/3 VCC. Right? So then this output becomes 1. So this is 1 means, and here what happens? Only one trigger pulse at that time instant we have given, and the remaining time it will be at high. So it will be 0. So what happens? This is 1, this is 0. So it resets the flip-flop. It resets the flip-flop. So it is 0 means Q bar becomes 1, and that one we are giving to the inverter. So the output becomes 1. And now this one is given to this transistor means Q1 will be on, and now the capacitor stops charging and immediately discharges through this Q1. And now the capacitor voltage becomes 0. So before this transistor on, it will be at 2/3 VCC. So now whenever this transistor became on, it will become 0. Okay. So when it is 0, what happens? Again, the upper comparator output will be 0. And this is also 0. So 0, 0 means that output 0 will be maintained. We will see the waveforms. So the timing pulses. This is time, and here you are applying the trigger pulse like this. So how will be the capacitor voltage? So whenever this trigger voltage falls below 1/3 VCC, your transistor will be, your output will be 1. So at that point the capacitor starts charging. Okay, and it charges up to 2/3 VCC. And whenever it reaches 2/3 VCC, it automatically discharges. And during the capacitor charging only, it will be in on stage. The remaining times it will be off. This is output. Okay. Initially, output will be logic low only. Whenever it receives the negative going trigger pulse, and whenever it crosses 1/3 VCC, then the state of the output will be changed to logic high. When output is logic high, then only the capacitor starts charging, because Q1 will be in off state. Then only the capacitor starts charging from 0, and it wants to charge up to VCC. It is its final target. But whenever its voltage just crosses 2/3 VCC, the state of the output will be changed. Okay. So till then it will be in on state. Whenever the state changes, then again output will go to 0. Now, if I give reset pulse, so here if I give a a reset pulse, it is PNP. So it is a negative going signal. So when I give the reset pulse, what happens? This reference voltage will be directly connected to this Q bar. So reference means usually a positive voltage, high voltage. So Q bar is at 1 means output will be 0. Okay. So output will be automatically becomes 0. Suppose here I am giving a reset signal. Then what happens? Here itself the output will go to 0. Whenever it receives the negative going pulse at the reset, then its output will automatically go to 0. And when it is in on condition, even it receives more trigger pulses, they won't affect this on period. Okay. And how this on period depends means, if you see the operation, so for how much time it is on? It is time taken by the capacitor to charge from 0 to 2/3 VCC. So what is the charging path? This R and C. So it depends on R and C values. Okay. So this is the on period. It depends on this. And we will derive the expression in terms of R and C, how much time it will take. Okay. And in between, if any trigger pulse, that is when output is in one condition, suppose if it receives trigger also, then what happens? No use, because it is 0 and it is 0. So both are zeros means no change, because already it is in 0 condition. So both are zeros means there is no change. So when output is in one condition, even though additional trigger pulses come, it won't affect the output. But if it receives a reset pulse, then the output will go to 0. Now let us see the connection diagram. So it will be 8-pin IC. So this is 555 timer. Okay. And 8th pin is supply. So here VCC. And when we are not using the reset pin, it should be given to supply. So 4th pin is the reset. So that is also given to supply. And at 3rd pin, you are taking the output. 1st pin, ground. And 5th pin, when you are not using the control voltage, it should be connected to ground through a 0.01 microfarads to bypass the supply ripples. And in monostable, we are having RC. This is 6, 7. And here we will give the trigger. So this is the connection diagram, right? And time period calculation. That is in terms of R and C, how much time it required to reach 2/3 VCC from 0. The capacitor. What is the capacitor voltage expression? VC of t is equal to V final plus V initial minus V final into e power minus t by RC. Right? So what is the initial voltage? From where it is start charging? 0 volts. So V initial is 0 volts. V final is VCC. Okay. And at time t, that is for a time period of t, how much it is reaching? It is 2/3 VCC. So VC of t is 2/3 VCC. So V final is VCC plus 0 minus V final is VCC into e power minus t. This t is the on period by RC. So here if I take VCC common, 1 minus e power minus T on by RC. So this is 2/3 VCC. This VCC and this VCC gets cancels, and e power minus T on by RC is equal to 1 minus 2 by 3. It is 1 by 3. Now take natural logarithm on both sides. Then it is minus T on by RC, and this is minus 1.09. Okay. Now what is RC? This minus and minus also gets cancels. Now what is on period? T on is equal to 1.09 RC. So it is 1.09 times RC. If RC values are big values means its on period will be high. If RC values are small values means its pulse width will be small, because the output will be like this. So this is the on period. So its on period depends on R and C values. Actually, trigger pulse should be a negative going pulse, and whenever its voltage falls below 1/3 VCC, then it should trigger the circuit. Only negative going it should respond. But accidentally there is a chance of responding for positive going trigger pulses also. So to avoid that, we can use a small circuitry for that. Let us see. So 8th pin, 4th pin, here we are not using the reset. So it should be given to VCC. And here trigger pulse, how we are giving, let us see. A high pass filter and a diode is connected like this. Okay. So what happens here? Trigger pulses are actually like this. Now it is passing through high pass means which acts as differentiator. So you will have spikes. Like this. And this diode, it prevents the positive going trigger pulses, because during positive going trigger pulse what happens? It will be directly shorted to VCC, so it will be clamped to 0.7 volts. Whereas negative going trigger pulse, only it will affect the circuit. And third pin we take output. And here we are not using 5th pin, so it should be connected to 0.01 microfarads to the ground. So this is the additional circuitry we are using to overcome the problem of positive triggering. Okay. This is capacitor and this resistor acts as high pass filter, which acts as differentiator. So differentiator means this signal becomes like this. That is, square becomes impulses. And next this diode. For positive spikes, what happens? This diode will be forward biased and this voltage will be clamped to 0.7 volts. Whereas negative going trigger pulse, this diode will be open circuit. So that will be applied to the second pin. So negative going trigger pulse. When it is going beyond 1/3 VCC, then it will switch the circuit. Now let us design a monostable multivibrator for required pulse width. Design a monostable multivibrator for a pulse period of 1 millisecond. Okay, here what is the time period of monostable? It is 1.09 RC. Let us assume C is some 0.1 microfarads and T on is given as 1 millisecond. So 10 power minus 3 is equal to 1.09 into R into 0.1 micro. Okay. So from this, what will you get for R? R becomes 8.2 kilo ohms. So after getting these values, we have to draw the monostable multivibrator. So this is 555 timer and 8 and 4 pins should be connected to supply. This is 8.2 kilo ohms. This is 0.1 microfarads. Here 6th and 7th. First is grounded. Here we will take the output. So if you take this output, then the response will be like this. So this pulse width will be 1 millisecond. Okay. And now let us see the applications of monostable multivibrator. So the first one is missing pulse detector. That is, if there is any pulses are missing, suppose heart pulse. If heart pulse is given as trigger pulse, and if you take the condition, the time period of the monostable multivibrator is slightly greater than trigger time period. Then what happens? These are the trigger pulses. Okay, this is the trigger input. Actually, it should repeat here also, but here it is missing. So, how it overcomes? See here. So, whenever it receives a negative going trigger pulse, the output will be on. So, the time period is just slightly greater than this. Then, after completing its time period, it is receiving next trigger pulse. So, it will be in on state only. So, here again it completed its next time period, but here the pulse is missing. So, it will go to the low state. And whenever it receives the next trigger pulse, high, like that. If it continues to receive the trigger pulse, it will be in high state only. So, by seeing the output, we can say whether any pulse is missing or not. Okay. So, here pulse is missing, that's why output goes to low. Otherwise, it won't go low. It will be maintained logic high. That is, here the heart pulse should be given as trigger pulse and the time period of the monostable multivibrator should be slightly greater than the trigger time period. Then what happens? Once it receives the first trigger pulse, the output of the monostable multivibrator goes high, and after completing its first time period, whenever it is about to go to logic low, then it receives the next trigger pulse. So, it won't go to its logic low. It will be continued. So, continuously if it receives triggers like that, then the output will be logic high only. But whenever there is a pulse is missing, then output goes to low. So, in this way, we can detect the missing hot pulses. Now let us see the next application, ramp generation. So ramp generation means here how to generate a linear ramp. It is very easy. If the capacitor is charged from a constant current source, then the voltage across the capacitor won't vary exponentially, it will vary linearly, because Vc of t is equal to 1 by C integral I of t dt. Okay. Suppose this is constant, that is, it is not varying with respect to time. If we are able to make this current flowing through the capacitor a constant value which is not varying with respect to time, then what happens? What is the integration of a constant? So constant means we no need to represent as a function of time. So it is just a constant. So integration of a constant is that constant into t. So this whole thing is constant and t is variable. So it will generate ramp like this. Okay. So how to supply constant current? Let us see. So this is the circuit. First pin is connected to ground, 50 is connected to ground through a 0.01 microfarads to bypass the supply ripples. Okay. Now here this capacitor charging through a constant current source. This current will be constant current. So when capacitor is charged through a constant current source, what happens? Instead of actually capacitor, how it charges? Like this. But instead of like this, when it is supplied with constant current, it will develop its voltage linearly. So it provides us linear ramp. And next one, frequency divider. So frequency divider means, suppose the input frequency is f, the output frequency should be f by 2 or f by 3, like that. We can divide the input signal frequency. So how is it possible? If the on period is greater than trigger period, then what happens? So this is your trigger. Okay. So this is the trigger. So whenever it receives the first trigger pulse, the output goes high. But its on period is greater than the trigger period. So what happens? Suppose this is the on period. The trigger period is this. And this is the on period of multivibrator. So what happens? After completing its on period, it will go slow, and whenever it receives the next trigger pulse, it goes high. And it will stay for T on. If it didn't receive any reset pulse, and automatically it goes slow like this. Okay, so what happens here? Suppose the frequency of trigger pulse is 1 kilohertz. Let us assume. Then what is the time period? 1 millisecond. Now see, the output waveform means this, right? So what is this time period? If trigger time period is 1 millisecond, it is covering 2 trigger time periods, means 2 milliseconds. So T on period becomes 2 milliseconds. So what about its frequency? 1 by 2 milliseconds means 500 hertz. So if you set like this, that is if T on is greater than T trigger like this, then it will act as F by 2. That is the output frequency will be half of the input trigger frequency. Suppose if I want F by 3 means what should I do? If I want F by 3 means T on should be greater than 2 times trigger. It should be greater than 2 times trigger and less than 3 times trigger. Then what happens, you see? So it will start here. So its on period is greater than 2 trigger periods. So it will be like this. And next it will goes down. And here after completing this, so now see, now what is the time period of this? It is 3 trigger time periods. So 3 times trigger time periods. So time period is 3 times increased means frequency is 3 times decreased. So like that you can set to any division, any frequency division. And next, pulse width modulator. So pulse width modulator means here all remaining circuitry is same except for the 5th pin. And for the 5th pin, we will give the control voltage or message signal. And at the 3rd pin, we will take outputs. So better inputs should be drawn this side. Okay, this is the only difference here. So what is happening actually? Actually, when the capacitor voltage exceeds 2/3 VCC, the output is coming from high to low. But now, actually, instead of 2/3 VCC, what is 5th pin? That 2/3 VCC pin. You see in the functional diagram. So this is the 5th pin, right? This is the 5th pin. So here, in addition to 2/3 VCC, if I give the message signal also, 2/3 VCC is DC, but message signal means it is AC signal. So time to time, its amplitude will be changing. And here, the resultant signal at this point, that is the inverting pin of upper comparator, becomes 2/3 VCC plus M of T. Okay. So what happens? Time to time, its reference will be changing. That is, the capacitor voltage compares its voltage with respect to 2/3 VCC plus M of T. So if M of T is high means it needs more time to reach it. If m of t is negative, then it needs less time. So in that manner, the on period will be changing. Okay, it takes more time means the pulse width will be more. It needs less time means the pulse width will be less. So here, suppose this is the message signal. And this is trigger. So like this. Now what is the output? If you don't give any message signal, then it will give constant outputs, constant output pulse widths. But now whenever it is going negative going, it reacts for this, right? So its output will be high. And here the amplitude is this. That is 2/3 VCC plus, that means it needs more time to reach that value. And next again it is going to logic high. And here if you see, almost similar. And here it is negative. So negative means it is less than 2/3 VCC, so it needs less time. And here it is at negative peak, means very small, so its pulse width will be very small. So the width of the pulse is changing with respect to the message signal, so it is nothing but your pulse width modulation signal. Okay, if message signal is not there means, for every on period it maintains constant time, that is 1.09 RC. But here, because of this message signal which we are applying at 2/3 VCC pin, every time the capacitor is comparing its voltage with respect to the 5th pin. So 5th pin is now not at 2/3 VCC, it is 2/3 VCC plus m of t. And 2/3 VCC is fixed DC voltage, but m of t is variable. So it is varying like this. It is having positive values, negative values and different magnitudes also. So at that point of time it is having positive peak means what happens? So positive peak means, for example, VCC, let us take, for your understanding I am taking 15 volts. Then what is 2/3 VCC? So 2/3 VCC means 10 volts. Okay, the capacitor voltage to reach 10 volts, for example, it needs 1 millisecond. Just assume. Now here what is happening? In addition to 10, suppose this peak is some 3 volts. So it is at 2 volts. So now the capacitor needs to reach 12 volts. So reaching 10 volts it is requiring 1 millisecond means reaching 12 volts it needs more than that. So that's why the pulse width is more than 1 millisecond. And next if you see here, it is 10 minus 3, 7 volts only. So no need to reach 10, it has to reach only 7 volts means it needs very less time. So it is based on, the pulse width is based on the magnitude of the message signal. That's why it is called pulse width modulation. Okay. Now let us recollect what we have discussed in this class. What is timer? Timer is a circuit which is used to produce delays, square wave, okay, and different applications, monostable, S-stable, Schmitt trigger, like that. What are the applications of timers? So what are the applications? It is used to generate pulse width modulation, pulse position modulation, frequency shift keying, okay, and to generate the time delays, to control the traffic signals, so on. And next, what are the different modes of operation of timers? So, astable, monostable and bistable. And in our syllabus, we are having only astable and monostable. What are the different types of multivibrators? So, multivibrators, again, astable, monostable, bistable. Astable means there are no stable states. Monostable means one stable state. Bistable means two stable states. Okay, each output is a square wave output. So, on state and off state. And stable state means it will be in that state until you give an external trigger pulse. That is called stable state. If the state doesn't need any trigger pulse to change its output, that is called quasi-stable state. And what are the different applications of monostable multivibrators? So, just now we have seen frequency divider, missing pulse detector, pulse width modulation, ramp generation. Okay, so these are the applications. And what is the condition for monostable multivibrator as missing pulse detector? T on should be slightly greater than trigger period. What is the condition for monostable multivibrator as frequency divider? Suppose you need f by 2. Frequency division by 2 means your T on should be greater than trigger time period but less than 2 times trigger time period. If you need divide by 3 means here 2 trigger, here 3 trigger, like that. How monostable multivibrator acts as linear ramp generator? If the capacitor is supplied with constant current source, then it acts as, that is, it gives linear ramp because it charges linearly. How monostable multivibrator acts as pulse width modulator? By giving message signal to the control pin, then it gives the pulse width modulation output. And this is your assignment. These are the references. I hope you understand. Thank you.